Today on the Hopefulist, the power of watching someone realize their dream. It's Football Monday, and do you put ketchup on your eggs? Ugh.
Welcome to the Hopefulist, a daily talk show hosted by veteran broadcaster Wendy McClure. Join Wendy each day as she shares her life lessons that transformed her from perpetual pessimist to the ultimate hopefulist. The perfect morning show to get you caught up on the day's top stories while sharing insights that will lead to positive transformation and bring out the hopefulist in you. For more inspiration, visit hopefulist.com. And now, here's your host and hopefulist, Wendy McClure.
Good morning. It is a Monday, a brand new week, full of possibilities, full of opportunities, and this is why it is my favorite day of the week. After Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, of course, it is Monday, September 30th, 2019, day 18 of Gotta Get on Ellen. I'm working it, people. I'm trying to get her notice. I'm thinking maybe I should jump ahead like 100 days because 18 days doesn't sound that bad. It's like, oh, she's only been at it for 18 days. What? I'm worth way more than 18 days. I think that I should jump ahead and just be like, day 118 of Gotta Get on Ellen. But that wouldn't be truthful, right? I can't do that. Can I? Can I do that? So it is Football Monday. The Eagles were off because they kicked some big-time Packers ass on Thursday, so that was nice. We did have to rush home yesterday to get home in time to watch the Giants, who did beat the Redskins, yet another division game. I was rooting for the Redskins, aside from the fact that I am a Giants hater, even though my husband is a Giants fan. But especially for the division, most beneficial for the Eagles if the Redskins would have won, because I believe we're tied with the Giants now. I think we're ahead because of, maybe we're not ahead now. I was going to say I think we're ahead because I think we beat. Anyway, they were putting the Eagles above the Giants until this week. I'm not sure how it is at this moment, but the good news is Dallas lost to the Saints last night. Looked like it was a really close game. I was long dead asleep by the time the game even came on. So I didn't see any of it, but I believe the final score was 13-10. So looks like it was a pretty close game. I believe that Drew Brees was out as well. So maybe the mighty Cowboys are not as great as everybody thinks they are with their 3-0 start, now 3-1. So next week, the Eagles take on the Jets. Oh, we've got to kick some Jets ass. Wow, do we have to kick some Jets ass. This is personal for me. This one is personal. We have got to win this game. In fact, I don't even want to win this game. I want to slaughter them. I want to embarrass them. I want it to be like 52-2, 52-3. I just want to humiliate the crap out of the Jets. Like I said, a little bit personal. So it was a very big weekend. If you've been following my posts on the Hopefulist page, you will see that I was at an Ironman competition over the weekend. Was I competing? Oh, hell no. I have no interest, especially as I help my sister recover from her injuries and aches and pains and all of this. And she's really in pretty good shape, I've got to say. But my sister became an Ironman on Saturday. This competition consists of a 2.4-mile swim, 110 miles on the bike, and then a full marathon at 26.2 miles in one day. The athletes were given 17 hours to achieve this goal. It started at 7 a.m., and you had to finish by midnight. My sister got in about 11:45, but she was given extra time because, not, extra time, but based on when she first started, she finished in, I believe, 16 hours and 25 minutes. I have a bunch of pictures posted on my blog post today and on the Facebook page, so you'll be able to check out her stats. When it comes to Ironman, you're not competing against anyone but yourself or with time. You don't ask who won, what place you came in. You just ask, did you finish? That's all that matters. When you're doing a 17-hour race, all you want to do is cross that finish line. And she did. So we all got there on Friday afternoon or Friday evening. My husband and I drove down, about a 3.5-hour ride down to Maryland. And Michelle was carb loading with some pizza when we got there. And we were staying with some friends of hers, Kurt and Linda. And it was an early morning. They got up about 4 o'clock. Her friend Linda was participating as well. She unfortunately missed the cutoff for the time she needed to make for the bike. So I always say at least they let them know before they start running. There's nothing worse than running a full marathon and then finding out you were disqualified anyway. So she got to hang out with us for the rest of the run as we were tracking Michelle. I have to give a huge thank you to Kurt, who seems to be a pro at this. He was great at keeping track of where they were, figuring out what time they would be passing by a certain spot, what time we needed to get there so that we could be there and cheer them on. It was a process. It was a big process. Now, we got there first thing in the morning. We were watching the swimmers go in, and I was looking so hard to see her, cross the start line. But they all had wetsuits on and swim caps. The girls were in pink. The boys were in, the women were in pink, and the men were in a green cap. So it was very hard to recognize your people. The ironic part is, Kurt was a little ways down from Joe and I, and we had made these cutouts with Michelle's face on it, and we were doing it just kind of for like a fun little thing. But then we realized it really came in handy because we could just wave it and hopefully she would see herself and realize that we were there. But we didn't get a chance to see her before she actually went in the water. I saw her talking to somebody, one of the volunteers, but she didn't get to see us. But we did see her friend Linda. And then ironically, Kurt, Linda's husband, saw Michelle before she went in the water, but not Linda. But they each saw somebody before they got to go in. So that was the good news. Took them about an hour 45 to get through the swim portion. Came out, switched clothes. They had these, called them peelers, people that were waiting when the people came out of the water to strip off their wetsuit. And as we're standing there, we're talking to people, waiting for our people to come out of the water. And the one woman says, yeah, that they go to the bathroom in their wetsuit. So when they're peeling them off and you get hit with a bunch of water in your face, there's more than likely urine mixed in with that. I was like, oh, man, I can't tell you how many times I got wet during that process. So I did shower a little later in the day. Realizing your goal is not always pretty. Just not always pretty. And I can show you my sister's toes as a monument to that fact. So then she got on her bike. She said she was feeling good, ready to go. 110 miles on the bike. We only saw them once on the bike. So, but then we were there at the finish line, and we got to see Michelle finish the bike. I asked her how she was feeling as she crossed the finish line, and she said she was feeling awesome. And I got some great pictures. My video skills a little lacking. I was having a problem with video. I had great success videoing other people that were coming in, thinking it could be my sister. So I just kept hitting the record button. And then when it was time for my sister to come in, I must have hit something wrong because I got no video of it whatsoever. Other people did, thank goodness. And then I think I really came through at the end. I got an awesome video of her crossing the final finish line. So I don't know which was the longest portion of the day. I'm thinking it might have been a toss-up between the run and the bike. Obviously, the swim was not nearly as long as those two. But, we got to see her a number of times during the run, which was really nice because I had made up some signs and we were yelling encouragement. And this was like in a actual little town, and there were so many people lined up with spectators everywhere. And we saw some really funny things. There was a guy that we had passed when we were walking to the spot we wanted to hang out for the last part of the evening. And he had on, he had a sign that was covering his, private area, let's say, that said, keep running or I will drop my sign. And he even had shorts on around his ankles. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't naked behind there. But yeah, the spectators really got into it, and it was such a boost for all the athletes. And that's what they kept calling them athletes all day. The athletes. All right, athletes. And then you really are like a superstar when you are done. Because as my sister crossed the line, I believe it was about 11:45, they scream your name and say, "You are an Ironman." So it was a very cool experience. I had a lot of fun, and I'm glad that I got to go because it's not on my bucket list. I have actually no interest. Now, I do enjoy my bike, as you probably know, and I'd love to get into some bike races and maybe do some smaller triathlons. I'm not a fan of swimming competitively at all. I'm not really a fan of swimming, period. So competitively is not really something that interests me, but maybe just to get one done. So it was a really, really cool experience. She has worked so hard for this. My blog post is about this, for the most part anyway, so I'm trying not to repeat myself. But yeah, I'm so super proud of her. She has worked really, really hard for this, and she just kept going. She didn't realize her dream right away. It took a little time. That's okay. You just keep pushing and moving and doing what you need to do to get it done. So I'm going to move on to the topic now before I get into the blog post, which again will be about watching somebody realize their dream. And we had gone to breakfast on Sunday morning after we all got a little bit of sleep because, it was a very late night. Joe and I are not used to getting up that early. You know that. We're usually in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And so I had said to my sister jokingly, I'm like, if you're not coming across the line until like 10:30, 11, I don't know if I'm going to be there because I'm going to be tired. So we went to breakfast the next morning. We had gone to bed about 1:30, and I had said to her she wanted to go buy some gear, saying that she was, they call them finishers, an Ironman finisher. She wanted to get this jacket. And apparently there's a long line that forms before it even opens because they sell out of things very quickly. And it opened at 7, so she wanted to be there at 6. And it's now 1:30. I said, so you want to set the alarm for 5:30? And she said, yes. I said, you realize that's 4 hours from now? She's like, yes, I do. So we got about 4 hours sleep, got up, went, bought the finisher's jacket. Looks very cool. I like it a lot. By the way, the medal looks really good on me, too. I took a couple of pictures with the medal on myself, and I gotta say it looks pretty good, pretty heavy, too. So while we were going to breakfast the next morning after we got the Ironman gear, we went to Denny's and had some breakfast, and my sister got a veggie omelet, and she put ketchup on it. And I was going to say something at the time like, ew, that's gross. But I decided to wait and make it a topic, and probably one of the most commented on topics I have ever had. So I wanted to hear from you. Do you put ketchup on your eggs? Yeah. People feel very strongly about this. Sharon says never. Wilbur says yes, all the time. Beth says red hot, not ketchup. Melissa says sometimes a little on scrambled eggs, but I also like fresh salsa or some hot sauce. Maureen says absolutely not. Ugh. Jim says I used to think it was gross, but now I like it on scrambled eggs only, but hot sauce is better. Jen says hell no. Doris says only on scrambled eggs. Marcy says blah, no. Rose says yes, it's the only way to choke them down. I'm guessing she's not a fan of eggs. Let's see. Sandra says salsa. That wasn't the question. Sandra, but I'll allow it. Christine says no, only on pork roll, egg, and cheese. Yes, that's very big in this area, the pork roll, egg, and cheese sandwich. Let's see what else. Paula says nope, not fond of ketchup. Kevin, a very hearty, oh, hell no. Diane says only on scrambled. Lori says, of course not. Like, who would do such a thing?